Alright guys, so we're back again with another daily report video. I guess they weren't daily, but I'm back on them. Actually, they're not going to be daily. It just depends on what I have and what's important in that time and in that moment. Again, everything, I'm maximizing my time. Some things have a more better ROI, basically return, just jibber jay. 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, back with another daily report video here. So I want to get into some questions first. Let's answer a couple of questions, and then we'll talk about me building my community online using the Skool platform. Oh, I didn't have my hat on today. Kind of forgot it sitting over there. So let's get into I just released a new video about this product review that I actually did, the first one on the channel. And again, there were a lot of requests to do product reviews, but I do not just do any product review just to do a product review. It has to be, one, in line with my brand. 2, it has to be something that I actually think is really cool. And 3, like, I think this is really cool. So that's why I actually took this one. So it's like a 3D model or a 3D display, but it actually works out pretty cool. I made a full review of it. Not actually more of a review now that I look at it. It was more of a tutorial how to connect it with Blender, because that was my main point of taking the whole thing. Like, you can take 2D images and it'll convert them to 3D so you can see them in the image, but that wasn't the thing. I was very interested in the workflow between Blender and this device. Like, I can make my renders in Blender and then export them out and then be able to see kind of like a 3D. It reminds me of like the 3DS kind of view, but not as nauseating. Like, it's very clean. It's not like that, like you always turn the DS off, that 3D, because it was a little nauseating. This doesn't feel like that, so it's really good. So I love 3D stuff. Why I love VR? It works definitely than I thought it would though. I assume it's just like shows a full scene in 3D from 2 views, but it's giving height info so it can look above and below. What it's actually doing is, like, when you got your render and when you got the camera set, it actually takes 40 shots like that. So you're getting this really good parallax movement when you're looking at it from the screen point of view, when you look at the screen dead on, because it literally renders 40 frames. You can do animations also with it, but then again, one frame is 40 shots, so like, do the math, that can be a lot. I did a cube rotating and it took like, it was like almost 400 something frames, because I didn't realize that for every one frame is going to do 40 actual still images, and then it stitches them together. So you got to keep that in mind. So yeah, it's a really cool device. I actually saw a sneak peek review that they're working on like this way more bigger monitor size one, and I'm like, wow, that looks actually really interesting. This has a lot of potential, but I think it still has a lot of things needs work. Super cool idea. Yeah, it's still definitely, they did say that they've already kind of like started working on their next project, which is like something similar, but very, yeah, like the only issue that I had with it was mainly software. Like, the software was a little hit and miss, or it could be optimized more better, but the actual device is really cool, and definitely something, if you're into game design and game dev, like, I would really love to have this on my desk so I can look at my characters and have that little bit of 3D movement, and just to see what they kind of look like. It would really help with game design. Definitely, I think so too. And for me, it's just kind of like a novelty item, which is really cool, But yeah, it does not work with Octane though. It works with the cycles render, but I'm quite sure, they can do, if it was in demand, they could easily code that just to take a few snapshots with using the Octane render, right? Next question, the procedural roughness secrets to Blender video, does this require 3.6 or later versions also to be used? No, when I made that, it was fully procedural. I was using the nose that shipped with Octane. You shouldn't have any issues with that. Yeah, no, I basically have updated that several times. I will take a look at that video, but you really shouldn't have any issues running that. Watching that video, making it yourself, which I recommend, so you can see how to put something like this together. And then in the future, if you ever want to make your own, you know how to debug it and work it out. So definitely, it's only 16 minutes. It's really, I would really recommend watching it to see how to make that, and then you can probably just do the same thing again in DaVinci, in Octane, on the newer version of Octane. How exactly do you use out of core textures? Is it baking? No, out of cores. Yeah, out of cores. Hang on a second. To give you a good, definition, and I'm gonna jump into our Skool community here and our Octane bot. We just ran a free scholarship giveaway. One member got a free scholarship, and everybody who entered got a very, very low price on entry into that. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later on the business end of some things that I'm doing here on the to help engage and get more leads for the community. I'm gonna jump into the chat GPT box here and bot, and I need help with what is exactly out of cores used for. And here is our definition. Out of cores, OOC, is used to storage large textures and geometries in system RAM when your GPU VRAM is full. So basically you've got this massive render and you've reached the limit of your GPU. This will offload some large textures, like it says, large texture and geometry, and put them on the RAM. So again, that will slow down performance a little bit, but if you really needed to get this scene rendered, that's what it will basically do. It will take some of that load off of the GPU and put it on your RAM memory, random access memory, and then you'll be able to get through the render there. So right here again, it says keep geometry uses minimal if possible. Also, avoid using out of cores for heavy animated scenes from RAM can cause lag and shutter. Monitor out of cores using the render statistic panels below IPR or the final render, right? So like you really want to, before you start initiating this, you really want to maximize and optimize your scene. Like get it really clean and get it good optimized. And if you're still having issues and you're still running out of space, then that's when you will want to use this out of cores. But typically I shy away from this. I really focus on optimizing my scene because optimization is a good habit that will actually help you in the future in any 3D platform. Optimizing your scene will help you with render times, with having issues. You'll have less issues if you optimize your scene, optimize your materials and things like that. So let's move on here. Let's get to this next one here. Watch out for people sending their blend files. I believe they can run Python scripts, so someone could put malware in them. Yes, that is true. I have heard of people sending Blender files and basically corrupting, sending junk through the Blender files. Yeah, this I did this one. This is from a member in our community, so that is okay. These guys are paying to be in the community. But yes, I did stop doing Discord. I was being nice and you know, having people in the Discord send me their Blender files and working on them. And one guy abused that. He was working on a non-disclosed project where he wasn't supposed to share it out. He shared it out. He wanted the help from me. I gave him the help, but then I shared it out on YouTube. He's like, oh, I'm not supposed to share that. And I'm like, okay, you're doing a paid project. You got my help for free. But now when I wanted to use the video for teaching purposes, I can't because you weren't supposed. It was a big nonsense problem. So I don't do that with the Discord anymore, unfortunately. But members in our community, that is one of the perks. We're a tight little niche of community, and we share our files with each other. And if we have issues, hey, can you take a look at my file for me? Yes, we do it all the time, and I kind of do I do things like that for the members in our community. That's one of the perks of being in the community, right? One more here. First thing, I check in the subdivision modifier to see if you have any crazy high values that will make CPU max out and freeze Blender until it's done or until you run out of memory and it crashes. Next thing to check is displacement nodes, baking textures, and any other things that might suck up RAM. Why did your video not offer a solution? Relax there, Tiger Woods, relax there. This is part of a full video. You were just seeing one reel. The next reel got posted the next day. The next reel got posted the next day. There is a complete full solution to this video. By the way, yes, we did figure out the issue. It was a modifier. He had modeled this inside of plastic or something and left some subdivision modifiers that weren't being used, and they were causing some issues. So again, it came back to scene optimization, guys. When you're ready to start rendering your scene, save a copy, you know, and apply all those modifiers, get that file optimized for rendering, because it's going to help you. Like, he had an issue, he couldn't render it. Like, he would see it in the viewport, but as soon as he hit render, it would just crash Blender. And it was like he had these sub modifiers on that weren't being used on anything, but they were causing some type of issue, because I guess they came, I don't know, but yeah, optimization came down. And yes, we did have a full solution. You just saw a short reel. You saw 30 seconds of a 15-minute video. So please relax. You know, you have not got all the information in context before you start, you know, calling people out and things like that. Other than that, last one here. Hi, can you make a video and a side-by-side comparison between Octane and Cycles on complex scenes to compare each render engine strengths and weaknesses? I mean material, shaders, and color appearances. I know you already did one, but it was a very simple scene that was a year ago, and since then Blender has many changes in the principal BFD, and the new Blender 5.5 even has color management, which for some improvements. Now Blender can use aces natively internally, which impacts render appearances. Yeah, aces is aces. That's not gonna really do anything as far as render times and render quality. Aces is just a uniform format to take camera footage, CG footage, this Canon footage, this Sony footage, this Red Epic, and bring them all to one color profile. And that's what Aces does. Aces is not going to make your render look prettier. Aces is not a look like a filter that you put on it to make it look. It's not like that. People use Aces the wrong way. Aces is a unified color space that we can bring all these different camera sources, CG sources, and unify them into one color world, basically. And that's what that's for. You know what? You know what? I don't like doing these type of verses, because you know why? I don't look at Cycles as being better or Octane as being better. It's just whatever's good for the tool. If you're into Octane, you're gonna look into Octane and find out what the benefits of using Octane is and stuff like that. I may share a few of them, but every time I make one of these videos, people just fight. Oh, Octane's better, Cycles is better. It's not about who's better. It's about what tool do you need for this job. Certain big studios have multiple render engines. They don't just use Octane. They don't just use Cycles or whatever. They have multiple. They use them for different projects. For, like, I made an analogy once. They're like shoes. You have different shoes for different occasions. You have different render engines for different occasions. If I'm gonna do a project and I have a lot of glass and I have a lot of subsurface stuff going on, I'm gonna lean more towards Octane. If I have something that's gonna be very stylized and cartoony like, I might even shift more towards Renderman. And if I'm doing like a quick 2D cell animation style, I'll just use Eevee, because it's gonna knock everything out of the park, right? It's just about what project and what strengths I need from those render engines. So that's why I kind of shy away from doing the whole these versus videos. I'm more about doing videos that's like, hey, this is what you can do in Octane. This is how you find it. This is where that feature is if you need to. If you were doing this in Cycles, this is how you do it in Octane. Not this is Octane, this is Cycles. Which do you like better? I don't really have time for those type of videos, right? All right. So enough of the jibber jabber there. Those of you who are seeing this is mainly back onto my second channel here now. I've kind of been done posting. I was doing a little stint there where I was posting these on my main channel just to kind of see, you know, I'm always experimenting just to see if anybody was interested into that. And it wasn't, you know, I was getting decent views on there. They were getting more views than some of my standard Octane videos. But I don't want to put this type of material on my main channel, because that channel is all about Octane and learning about how to do rendering and stuff. This is more on the business side of things. So I want to keep this on this channel, because this channel is mainly going to be where I'm going to start talking about business side of my journey of learning Octane and learning Blender. For those of you guys who want to start to learn how I'm monetizing my community, which we're going to jump into right now. Again, I do and strategize it all in public here, so if anybody's on this journey of trying to make a business out of 3D, or not even just 3D, out of their passion, maybe you work in Houdini or something like that and you just happen to see this video, this is what I do. I'm just going to be sharing that whole journey. Again, I have my main channel, which is One Polygon with me, and this is going to be my business channel here, talking about strategies, talking about monetizing your communities here. One Polygon with me Skool. I do everything here on the Skool platform. Again, the Skool platform is part owned by Alex Hormozy, which is the guy I follow who got me into business, and he has another the owner of Skool, which I can't think of his name at the moment right now, which I need to get his photo update. But anyways, what is Skool? Skool is a place where you can turn your passion into a community and learn together. And I also dropped you guys can't even see it because I have the screen blurred out. And you can even possibly make reoccurring revenue, MRR, which I'm actually doing right now. And you know, I was gonna do like every Blender artist does. I was gonna start a Patreon. But you know what? You don't own nothing with Patreon. You're just renting the space. Here in Skool, I own my Skool. I own my Skool group, like literally, and even just like the way it's built for community. Patreon is not really built for community. It's built for, hey, tips. Give me tips. Here's a video. You know, it's like, again, you're borrowing you're just renting. The felt more like a community where like this is your community. That's what you got. You run it how you want to run it. And on the even on the back end financially, like there's a lot of things that let me get to my my stats here really quickly of what I'm doing. That's one thing I want to shift. I'm gonna talk about what I just recently did here to generate more people into my community. We actually had a really good month this month here. I generated like over, man, I can't remember how many leads we generated. I think over 40 something leads, which I normally average like 5 or 6, but I ended up whatever. What is all this jibber jabber going on? Yeah, we're coming on the back end of it, but you can literally see in the past 30 we had a 71% increase. I literally had like almost 50-60 new leads come into my community and made an additional $200 this month. And one thing, it goes back again to Alex Hermosi here. He just released a new book called let me quickly dial that in for you. This book right here from the man himself, Alex Hermosi, dropped this $100 million money making, and basically this guy is like on his way to becoming a billionaire, and he's sharing his whole journey. That's why this inspires this channel here. And what I plan to do was, I have several of his other books here. Again, I talk about them all the time here on these videos, but this is what his philosophy, his lessons have made me to realize that I can monetize my passion of learning Blender and doing Octane and stuff and actually make money off of it. So I'm only a year and a half into my journey. I'm coming up on my second year into this journey, and I'm already making about $500 a month. At one point I was almost making close to 600, but I got members who come in and come out, right? So what he dropped this new book, and my thing is, like, one thing I learned from him, whatever you do in life, if you learn something and you don't apply what you learned, that means you learned nothing. So like, I read his first model making model, which was giveaways or sponsorships, not sponsorship, giveaways or scholarships. So I actually was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna try his first model, money making model, and see if it actually works. I did it. 7 days later, $200 plus added to my community. Four new members. 5 actually, because I gave away. So let me quickly run you down on the actual model that we did here. So this first model was basically a scholarship. He's like, you need to give something away. You're going to give a grand prize away, and then everybody who enters in to apply for this grand prize also it will win something. So no matter what, everybody's going to be a winner. So for example, for me, I gave out a 1-year scholarship, 1 year free, basically a 1 year free subscription to my Blender Octane community, which is a $200 value, and gave that away to one member. They had to fill out a couple of questions on why do you think you deserve this and why should I give this to you. And everybody else, if you don't win, you will win something. And what I gave them was a massive price reduction on joining my community. So again, it's $199 for a yearly subscription. Everybody who joined into the campaign actually got an offer for $100. Literally, it's like almost 50% off. And anybody who didn't want to do that, that was option 1. If you didn't want to do that, I gave you another option. You can join the community for $10, which the normal price is $25. And actually it's going up next month. It's going to $36. And I told them that in the email. So you will get in for $10. That's like almost what, 80, 60%, 75% off, right? And I was like, let's see if this works. I did it and it actually worked. I had 2 people who signed up for a yearly subscription at $100, so that's $200, and then I had 2 other people who signed up for the monthly, so that was 10 plus 10, so I ended up making $220. All before this, I was struggling to get any sales, and that one model from that first model in that book actually worked. Because why? I actually tried it. Most people wouldn't try it. I learned something new, took what I learned, and actually put it to work, and it actually resulted in good results. Again, this is the type of stuff that I'm sharing out. Like, I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys because that's what I want to do. I want to build your trust, because what I ultimately plan to do here is I'm going to build another community teaching people how to do this using the Skool platform. If you're a 3D creator, you've got a Patreon or something, and you're like, dude, this is pretty cool, I'm going to help you shift from your Patreon. You can still keep your Patreon, but I can help you shift and build build what I'm doing here on Skool. And the reason why also is because the more money you make with can we go full screen here? I want to get in close. Yeah. The more money you make on Patreon, unfortunately, the more they take. Now, Skool has a flat rate fee of $100 a month, and you're like, well, I don't pay that for Patreon. Yeah, that you don't. But on the back end, they take less out of my monthly money from Skool. Skool takes the lowest amount of money and transaction fees out of all of the communities here. Matter of fact, hang on, I got some data here. So take a look at here. So if I'm making $1,000 a month here, and let me get back to the screen here so you guys can see there. Take a look at this. At $1,000 a month, the profit is actually identical. So check it out. I'm making $1,000 a month. Skool is going to take out their bit, and Patreon is going to take out. But you see, there's a difference. $871 versus Skool, because this is also minusing the $100 a month it takes to run Skool. But Patreon, you're going to get $870, right? But check it out. Here's the kicker. As soon as you grow past making $1,000 a month, your Skool will pull ahead. Because why? Because Patreon takes 10% of whatever you take forever, while Skool is capped at a $99 flat rate fee every month. That's it, right? So if I'm making 10 grand a month, Skool is still only going to cost me $100, flat out, right? And now they have a new plan, a $10 a month plan, but they take a little bit more on that $10 a month plan. But the $100 plan is where you want to be, right? So check this out. At $2,000 a month, Skool net is going to be $1,800. My net from Patreon will be $1,700. That's more than $100 in my pocket. Then the price keeps going up. 5 grand. Look at from Skool, you're going to take 4.7. Look at Patreon, they're going to take 4.3. Again, a profit of $400. Once you get to 10 grand, we're talking about 9 grand, right? Versus 8 grand. That's $730 a month. So Patreon is good to get started, but you can't build a business off of that. The more you make, the more they take. Versus Skool is something where I can build a business off of. Unlike, like I said, that's why I said that Patreon, you're kind of like, you're renting the space. Here on Skool, I just pay property taxes, my $100 a month, and that's it. Like, there are people in this community who are making hundreds of $1,000s a month, right? Easily. And if I can jump over to quickly show you guys this here, I'm going to jump over here. Hang on one sec. If I come in here and see the leaderboard for some of the top members who are competing for the Skool games, we guys look at this guy right here, monthly MRR recurring, $300,000, right? We've got this other here, this other academy here, 65,000, right? And these are like in the last 7 days. Look how much they've generated. This guy here, $16,000. If we even we can go to hobbyist groups, which I'm considered a hobbyist group because I do 3D art. We got people who are making 15 grand a month, 12 grand, 10 grand a month, 7 grand a month, right? Now imagine that 15 grand and Patreon taking 10% of that. That hurts, right? Where Skool, no, they just take their flat rate $100 out, plus they have the lowest amount of fees on any of the platforms. Check it out. Here's a quick breakdown. So we've got Kajabi. You know, the advertised fee is 0, but there's an actual 5% fee. We got Whoop at 3, but my main concern is here is Patreon, because most Blender artists use Patreon. So we got Patreon at 10% advertised, right? And now minus they don't have the monthly fee, but again, we're talking about 14%, where Skool is flat rate 2.9 flat. That's it. And 2.9 all in, right? So, you know, minus your $100, that's it. That you're just golden. I even have basically a quick little calculator to break this down, basically, so you can see how it comes. It's for, in my case, at my monthly revenue of $500 a month right now, basically I'm saving. I get basically. You can literally see here the difference that I get annually if I'm using. So Patreon at the 14%, here's our monthly revenue of $500, monthly fee of $70. So I get money that I get to keep is $430. So that's $55 difference versus Skool. Now minus my $100 that I do pay, my monthly $100, which I already just, you know, that's part of it. Minus that, I'm still off my profit. They're taking $14 from me, right? Bucks. So on that end, I get $485 back. Now this, again, these are, I mean, come on, that's a small amount, but right now, as you start making more, once I start breaking past the $1,000 a month, that's when things are really going to start to come into play. And honestly, I know I'm hyping up Skool a lot, because honestly, just look at the way this is. Look at the way this is set up compared to Patreon. Like, I just have so many people who are like, why don't you do the Patreon? Why do I want to do Patreon when I have so much more of a community base set up here? Like, like as much as they're promoting me to do Patreon, I'm promoting to do Skool, and why I think Skool is better. I've got a classroom. This is way more cleaner and sleek design that I keep all my modules inside here, all my courses, everything is inside of here. Look at, I've got all these different courses. They can mark these courses. We can do video natively inside here. We can stream natively on the platform. If I want to go live, I just click this little button right here, go live. Now I go live inside of my platform, which is easy as possible, as easy peasy 1 2 3 right? And then I've even got this whole members map. I can see where all my members are at in the world with the 10-mile radius. So if I wanted to organize a meetup, I can find out where the most of my members here in France, right? Easily like that, right? We've got leaderboard, things are gamified. The more people are engaged, they get certain benefits and certain perks. Like for me, anybody who gets to level 7 in my community, they get a lifetime free membership right off the back. I can charge yearly, monthly, I can charge a flat one-time fee, and we're gonna have the option to start doing multiple tiers starting to come soon, where I can have somebody come in as a free tier. They only get to see, or they only get access to the free tier stuff, versus somebody who pays $10 a month versus somebody who pays the full yearly subscription. They'll get a lot more options. So if you guys are interested in this, drop a link down below in the email here for my waiting list, and I'm going to basically show you guys how you can turn your passion into a community like this and actually start making some money like I'm actually doing here. And I'm sharing the journey of me doing this right now with you guys real time. The strategies that I'm going to be using and learning, I'm going to share with you guys real time. Like I just showed you the Alex Hormozy, how I got members in here. Again, you know, I got additional few more members off of the project that I did with that. I'm going to share it all here. So we're going to go ahead and do some stats while we're here. This month, you can see here I've been sharing my stats all right here. We were at 512, we were at 539. I lost a couple of members there, but we've got some members right back. So today is 9/19/25. We are currently at, let's close some of these extra windows. We're currently at 35 members. We're at 35. It's 2 difference. We are currently making a month 516. And about page views. Again, you don't even really need a website. Like I'm thinking about ditching my website soon and just have people come to my about page. This is like, if I go to here and you go to my about page, this is acting as my website. They come here, they watch a quick short video about my platform, about my group. Then they've got this little quick, you know, pictures where they can interact and see reviews. I can show what I want to show in here. And then I've got my video sales letter, my VSL, video sales letter, where they can jump in and see what's going on. And then here's a quick little paragraph of what they get in here. You can see my monthly price right now is $25 and things like that. So how many people come to this page? Let's see, this month came, I'm trying to get this up because right now, again, they're going to my website and then to here. I might start reverting people back straight to here instead, but I'm constantly testing things here. So we're at 113, and this number has been going up also because of my shorts. I've been doing heavily promoting shorts recently, and you know, I just dropped the link in the shorts so we can clearly see, look at the numbers are slowly growing up. But I think these numbers could be higher. This is before I had my website, and you can see as I had my website, these numbers started descending, right? So that's 11 difference. Then we've got our turn rate. It was like how many people are canceling, 5.29, which is below 10, which is extremely 5.29, 5.2. That actually went down just a little bit. And my click-through rate has definitely gone up because we had 5 new signups. Oh, 5 new signups. Actually, one I gave the grand prize winner, so that doesn't really count. 4.4. So let's drop that in there. 0.4 on the click-through rate. So that's definitely gone up too because we had nobody signing up for a long time, and then boom. All right. And then I also like to track my YouTube channel stuff here. Here's my main channel. I'm going to go ahead and quickly grab those. And then I'm also showing my new channel here because everybody doesn't believe that, you know, when you start a new channel, like everybody started at 0. PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, everybody started at 0. Okay. Don't forget that, guys. We were at 5. Here's our number 6, 596, 919, 8,000, 596 plus 39 on that. That's a good number. And then my average view duration, which I also like to track because if they're not, I want to know how long they are watching. Let's go into analytics, and then we're going to go into content, and then right here, average view duration. We go to videos, not shorts. Average view duration is 153. 153. That's gone up just a little bit. That's good. It's better than nothing. And then we also have 3.2 on my click-through rate, which has actually gone up a little bit too, 3.2. If they don't click, they don't watch. And then let's go to my channel that you guys are currently watching here, watching this. We are at 17. We got 2 new subscribers there, 17. Nice. So that is slowly, we're getting some slow growth there. And I haven't been posting there for a little bit too. I fell off for a little bit, but that's all right. I'm getting right back on. So that's good. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap that up. Ooh, that's like 30 minutes of me just jibber jabbing. All right. So I'll catch you guys in the next video, probably in a couple days. It might be tomorrow. It just depends on what has the most important value value of my time at that moment, and it has the highest return of an investment, ROI. So quick little business terms for you guys. Catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.